Hello. 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 I wonder where we actually lost ourselves. I don't know, to be honest. I think I lost somewhere. Um, Pretty sure we lost somewhere, right? If I just refresh it, it is streaming. I have lost chat overlay. Can anybody tell me where I have lost? Okay, it is like restreaming the thing. Where had we lost? Let me check first. Okay. Next live continuation is happening again. Uh, some internet issue was there. Some internet issue happened. Okay. Hopefully, let me check where it is happening right now. The same is actually true for here as well, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Sorry. Sorry. Okay, I should be giving this now to my old uh thing. Let me go to my channel. Go to here. Learn Redux Toolkit. Right here. I should be able to. This is pathetic. I mean, net. Trust me, dude. People, this is bad. Cool. So that is, I did my part. Hopefully, it is like done. I can come back to this. I can reopen my Twitter account and go back to this. This is the file. Okay. Network issue happened. Continuing with part 2 here. Kick link is the same. Cool. Okay. Hopefully this will work. Let's see. Okay. Now I completely lost exactly where I was, to be honest. yeah, we were talking about the slice file. All right, so the let's go back to my code. Okay, let me just go back to this. I have to go inside the slice. All right, so I think I will start what we have actually done. So in this slice file, in this just one slice file, we have done a lot of things. In the previous implementation, you might have saw, I should make it like this so that I can see this network. In the previous implementation, you might have seen that the code that I made you see, we had to define the action constants, right? We had to define the actions. We had to define the type, right? Based on the action constant. I mean, type based on action constants, not this, constants. We had to then also make sure that the state immutability is maintained. Okay. If you check here in this one slice file, we have done pretty much all the things which is required here, thanks to this function, which is doing these things internally now. What do I mean by that? Well, check this. We are utilizing the JavaScript push method directly. So we are not maintaining the referential integrity at all. Yet, when you do this inside the create slice function, or these creates, yeah, this, I mean, class or function, whatever you want to call it, then internally it will make sure that it transforms this particular code in a manner that it maintains the state mutability. If you check in our app here, right, this is maintaining the state immutability. We'll come back to this just before we replace everything from the slice one. But now, what about the constants, action constants? Well, these names by default becomes the action constant. So the action constant internally, it will make it something like this: cart slash add item to cart, then cart slash remove item from cart. This is what it is actually becoming internally. If I remember correctly, this is what it is happening. Then the actions are basically this. The same thing is actually the actions as well, if I'm correct, or maybe just this. For us, this is the action. Fair enough. And the type, if you hover over this action, you will see that type is already maintained. You don't have to worry about it. Fair enough. Cool. Now, before we actually replace everything from this, this store, right? If you check also, we are exporting the cart slice. We are exporting the reducer as a default from the cart slice. And then we are also exporting the actions as well, right here. All right. Cool. Now in this store TS, and I hope that this is clear. All we are doing is that these state, because I don't know where I lost in terms of internet, so I'm just repeating myself. In this add to item to cart is a function that we are defining inside the reducers object. This slice takes the name. This can be any name. This is the initial state, which is this state. And if you check my product types, I have kind of like changed it, which is products is optional, this is optional, this is optional. That's why I have to make sure that this is question mark for now. In production level application, you won't be doing that because everything is actually designed beforehand, not in live tutorial. So that there's that. And then we are just getting the state and we are doing the operations. This is the add to cart operation. This is the filter operation of remove from cart. Cool. All right. Now, before I actually change everything, like remove everything from here and change it with this store, I hope that, I hope that entire thing is here is also clear. There's a bunch of re-rendering that is happening, which we saw. See, rendered. So we will remove this. If you thought why this entire thing went away, because both of them had the same key, because everything is static, nothing is coming from the database. That is why this is a problem for now. You don't have to worry about it. It's just a conceptual live video about the Redux toolkit. Cool. So you saw how we can actually create the store, how we can define the TypeScript for that, how we can define a use app dispatch state, which is TypeScripted app dispatch thing using the Redux toolkit. Fair enough. You also saw how we can actually define the card slice. Before I actually begin, I wanted to just clear one thing about the referential integrity as well. So let's put it this way. Rather than doing it this way, when I click on add to cart, rather than making a copy of it, then maintaining the referential integrity ourselves, I mean creating another, the moment we create another array, right, what we are doing is we are separating the references as in the heap memory, as I told you before in the previous part, right? And then because the references are different, the use state will make sure that this entire app re-renders when you actually do it. Okay. But what will happen if we do it the way we have done things here? Because remember when I said that create slice will make sure that this code is transformed to perform things similar to this, right? But this is not the case for us. Okay, so let me just copy it like this. This is my card items. So I will just put it like this. And then this is my new product. Okay, so let me just put it like this. Fair enough. And then I will simply make sure that this is now getting passed here. This is not required. All I'm saying is whatever the product you are getting, push it to the cart items and just set it to this cart again, right? I mean, whatever the updated card is, set it here again. But in this entire scenario, you see that the reference of this particular card item didn't change. We just simply pushed in that reference memory itself. We pushed another product there and nothing changed in terms of references, even though the value have changed. How do I know the value have changed? Well, technically speaking, it has. We'll see about that. But for now, let's console log that card items. Okay, let's go back, put on this console. Click on this and let's open it. You see that it was previously nothing. Now it is like something. Okay. Yet nothing actually happened in terms of UI change. Why? Because we have not mutated the references of that object. So use state doesn't understand or doesn't know at all whether something has changed in this entire, your data. If you add it here, you have now two of them, yet nothing will happen. Okay, cool. So now we can actually go ahead and do things the Redux way. Till this point, we have implemented these things, right? The only thing we haven't utilized is this, and everything else is utilized in terms of slides and stores. Now to utilize this and this, right? Let's see. So the first thing first, where should we now get all this data? Well, let's go inside let's remove everything first. Let's go inside my app. That is something that I will require. Let's go inside my components, and here I will go inside my products. All right. Now, does the card item, right? Do we have to set this product in the parent anyways now? Not really. Now I can just cut it from here and I can locate it where it is actually required, which is inside the products. Okay. Then I can push it like this. So I can just, first of all, can remove it like so. Let's get it from here. Cool. That's number one. I can do the same with the card items because we don't require it there. It should be right here. Okay. That's number 2. And we'll see whether we even require it like this or not. Okay, for now let it be like this. Fair enough. Let me just make it like this. All right. Now, do we require this perform actions here? All this, to be honest, no. What about this card items? Not really. Let's remove everything. Okay. Now this object has to be fetched, obviously. So let's put it right here in our products. Oh boy, this wretch is not working. Import. So we are going to go right this way, and my product is set, right? Fair enough. Do we need this perform action? Not really. Let's remove everything from here. What about this card? We are passing the product. What about the perform action? Not really. Let's remove it. And let's go inside the card. Let's remove the perform action from here. Perform action from here. For now. So our product is going, now our product component will fetch the product, will set the product, and will render the product. Fair and simple, nothing else. Cool. Our card component will get the product like this and will simply do all this. Like it will do the view of the product. It will represent the product in our UI. Okay. I can remove these now. The header does not require anything now. I can just go here and I can remove this now. Okay. We'll look into how to get this from our entire Redux store. Then in the cart items, we also don't require this. In this products, we also don't require any of this. Let's go inside the cart items. We can remove this from here. And this will be done. This card also does not require this. Cool. Fair enough. And this is also done. The only thing that we have to make sure that this is somehow being taken care of. And this is somehow being taken care of. Let's start doing that. But before we do that, sorry, we have to do one more thing, which is inside this main, we have to, let me just remove this. Let me just remove this and this. Okay. We have to import something called provider from react-redux. And within that, we will pass our app. And this provider will take a store, which will be our store that we have defined here. All right. Now, the moment you do this, the moment we do this, don't know where it went. Okay, the moment we do this, let's refresh it. There will be a bunch of errors. We don't care about it for now. Check this Redux. And I have to make it like this. I hope it is clear. If you're watching it in laptop, it will be clear. Is it like still running or not, first of all? Hello. Yeah, it is running. Fair enough. Sorry. Okay, so this is my provider. Okay, and as you can see, now inside this cart, I have a cart items and a cart item count. What about this cart? Like, right, let me just make it like this. This cart name, how is it coming from? Like where it is coming from? If you go inside this store, let's call it cart I. Save it. This became the cart I. Okay, So this name is what is going to showcase in, I mean, whatever you define inside the configure store reducer, this name is what will come in that Redux dev tools, not this name. Hope that is clear. First of all, this is some sort of like an internal thing for this slice, not that. Okay, that's number one. Now we have to get the item count. So let's start doing that. In our header component, we need this cart item count. Okay, so let's do that. Let's say cart item count. I hope that is what I have done. Yeah, cart item count. And we will use something called use reducer. This use reducer will take root state. Hopefully this is what it says. Let's see. Yeah, we'll see. This will be talking about the state. Let me just remove this. I'm pretty sure I did the right thing, but okay. This is going to be taking the state, and then it will be giving me back the state. Dot. Okay, let me check one more thing. There is something that went wrong here. Let me check and go inside their documentation. I'm pretty sure it was the same thing. We are getting this, we are getting this, we are getting all of this. We are going to get this counter reducer. Then, okay, use selector is the case. All right, I made a mistake. Rather than use, I made a mistake in terms of use selector. It has to be use selector. I confused it with this use reducer hook of React. Anyways, so let's go back here. It actually imported it from React. My bad. Let's say use selector. Then here it will be taking the state. Let me check one more time. If you check here, it is a root state. This is where we have defined the state. So let's call it a state. Let's call it root state. Now with this, we will have a TypeScript, to be honest, with us. And now we can say cart. So from this cart, get me this count. Okay. Now, if you check here, this item count inside this thing. Okay, this is a different scenario altogether. So obviously it is not present here. This is it is. I mean, there was items. I have defined it as item. Now here it says the number undefined is not assignable to the type number. Why? So let's put it as or 0. Fair enough. Or we can actually put it even, even lower. We can go inside this cart count itself. We can make it like this. And we can say, you know what? Showcase it right here. Let's import it. Let's import it. Okay. Then we don't require this. Fair enough. And in the header, we don't require this either. This can be just a count component itself. And then this can be 0 or undefined. I don't care. And this can be just this. So let me just put it at 0. If it is undefined, make it 0, even though we know it won't be the undefined. Cool. So that is how we get this card item using the use selector, right? Now, if you check here, what we have done is we have removed the prop drilling from my header to my card count, and we have directly pulled or fetched the data of the cart item count from our store, which was defined inside our slice. Okay, that's what we have done using the use selector method. And that's number 1. Let's do the same thing with this card. Now if I go here, let's go inside this products. Here we are fetching this is something that we have to fetch. Then inside this card we are saying right now it is add to cart. Okay, now in this we have to perform an action. So for that we will have dispatch. We will make a variable named dispatch and we will use app dispatch. All right, app dispatch is here. Rather than using this is coming from our end because we have extended the React Redux use dispatch to have a type which will be helpful for us. Now if you're not using the TypeScript, you will directly use the app dispatch, use dispatch here. Now using this dispatch will perform an action. What will be an action? Well, when we click, we have to make sure first of all whether it is a cart item or not. If it is a cart item, let's say if it is not a cart item, then it is add to cart. So we will say dispatch, and within that I want to add item to cart, and this is it. Okay, this will have a payload which will be an object, which will be a product. See, payload is basically an object and this will be a product. That's all I'm doing. Payload is an object which contains a product. Now if I would have had like another name for it, like some product info blah blah blah, then I would have done pass the key as product and would have then supplied product info or some sort of like a p or whatever. Okay, but this is it. And if that is not the case, which is basically we can say else, then let's dispatch an action of remove item from cart, again product. And at this point, if you check, I need ID. So now I can simply pass product.id. Very simple, extremely simple, right? If you check, I don't have to define my action in my app now. I can define it inside my product. Inside my card, right? Where I am performing an action, I am defining it. That's about it. So based on that, the moment I dispatch this action, this will be taken by the reducers, which is inside this slice, and this will run. The moment this will run, right, the state will be updated. The moment the state will be updated, everywhere where we are selecting this, where we are fetching the data, all those components will refetch the data and re-render, and we will have modified or updated data. So let's go inside my card component, and in this scenario what we will have to do is we can remove this completely. Here we will say card items equals use selector. Again it will be state of root state, and this will be state dot cart dot, let's call it just cart for now. I'll show you why I'm putting it this way. And this will be cart items. Let's put it like this, and here we are. Let's remove this and let's go back and check everything. Whether it is working or not, we have to check it. I should be doing something here, maybe. Yeah, it is still working, thankfully. God, this internet. All right, so when I click on this, okay, first of all you will see that this item will be updated. So you can also see the action right here, or you can see the action right here. Right now it is initialized, our store is initialized. The thing with this Redux dev tools is that you can actually see a lot of things here. Okay, let me just put it like this. This is the problem with browsers. Maybe I can do things like this. Then I can put it like so. Then I can make it like this, and I can kind of like for a little while I can forget about the comments. Don't mind the CSS either. It is not the part and parcel of this tutorial either. I mean this live stream either. Okay, when I click on this add to cart, check what happens. The add, I mean check the action. Cart/add item to cart is done. Okay, check this. We have a new item here, and this is this is this, everything is right here. For some reason this is not updated. We'll see why. Oh, obviously it is not updated. I'll tell you why, because I have not updated it previously, because we were getting the length from here. We have to do that there as well. But anyways, this card item is now updated, right? And if you check the action, if you check the difference as well, see, previously it was nothing, now it is here. Cool. Fair enough. This is the type. As you can see, what I mentioned, type is this. It is automatically creating the type or the action constant. It is automatically being created. And this is a payload, which is a product. This is a state which is updated, and then it's re-rendered. Okay, just fix that counter thing. We have to go back to our slice. Here, when we are pushing this data now, we have to make sure that the card item is count is basically plus equals 1. Hopefully this is the case. Card item count is possibly undefined. Not really. Oh yeah, what we have to do is basically we have to make sure that the cart is, I mean this, not this, not this, not this. Let's see, only one product will go. So yeah, this plus 1, and it is not going to be undefined. I'm sure of it. Okay, if this is going to be undefined, make it like this, and let me push it this way, either that or this, and plus 1. Okay, if it is present, then that plus 1, and things like that. Let's go back, let's click, it is 1. Let's click again, it is 2. Now check this out. Also, by the way, remove from cart. Yeah, one more thing, we have to remove the whole thing again. So here, come back to this, make it minus. I keep forgetting this. Okay, I want you to check the re-render thing. Previously, every single component was getting re-rendered. Now check this out. Focus everything, okay? I click on this add to cart. Check what is actually being re-rendered. Is the header being re-rendered? No. What is being re-rendered? The cart component only, which is increasing 52, 53, 54, whatever. And that card items, every card items is being re-rendered, right? I mean, the entire thing is being re-rendered, obviously, because the card items is getting re-rendered. But our product listing is fine, our header is fine, our entire app is fine, even our footer is definitely fine now, right? So that's what is happening. So we have reduced the re-renders a lot in this case. Cool. Now, basically that's the entire thing. We have optimized, kind of like in this scenario, we have optimized our app. Now there are times when the re-renders will still happen, and if you run into that scenario where the re-render happened, there's this amazing principal engineer name by the name of Jack Harrington, if I'm correct. He has a lot of videos regarding different global state management tools that you can use, okay, like Justin, like Jutai, like Redux Toolkit, including the great context of React as well. And he mentions how you can actually, first of all, you don't have to pre-optimize things, but I mean, pre-optimize the render thing of the React, but in case you want to do it eventually in your app when it becomes too big, how you can do it, he mentions it in his videos. There's a lot of it, you can check that out. But in our case scenario, this will suffice. Okay, the only thing that we can do maybe is in this thing we can directly get this item like this. Cool. This will be the same thing, and then inside my card count thing I can get this card item by default. Same thing. Okay, and that's it. That's your Redux toolkit. It was that easy, nothing else. So I hope this video made it clear exactly what we actually do, right? Hopefully it made it clear. And yeah, and if you like this video, if you think this is helpful, just share it with your friends and subscribe, because a lot of people are not subscribed in this channel. There are 99, approximately 97 or something people, or 99, 98% of the people do not subscribe. So if you like this understanding of this entire thing, just subscribe it, because such videos will keep on happening. And yeah, that's about it. And let me know how this entire Redux flow was in terms of your whatever you have seen till this point, because I don't get the because I don't believe in this building this entire thing and basically repeating everything again and again, because it starts becoming confusing. I hope once once the concept is clear, it should be very easy to build things by yourself. The only thing that is left in this entire concept, I guess, is the thunk part, because remember I mentioned there's a thunk in the old way of doing things. So where's the thunk here? Well, the thunk here is, technically speaking, within this slice. So outside of this reducers, there's something called extra reducers of the builder. Okay, and then that builder will have add case, add default case, add matcher, things like that. And then it will have action creator. Now here you will have to define a bunch of action creators yourself. Now for this, let's go back to our quick start. All right, let's come to this thunk, where it is. A lot of, by the way, the thunk will only be utilized if you have some sort of fetch request, okay, which is required before you mutate your data. Other than that, no, it is not required. So maybe the thunk can be utilized in our products where we are fetching the data from use retch fetch, things like that, right? So just to make sure how it is actually done, I hope I can actually figure it out. Show you if I can think of some sort of like example. So there has to be an async function. Let's call it, let's say, perform some fetch API action. Okay, and let's see, if I remember correctly, there has to be one example. This here it is. Yep, we have to get this. By default it will be yes. Okay, fair enough. So rather than performing the async here, we can actually perform it inside like this with the arrow function. So let's do that. First is basically fetch some API. Okay, here we will have create async thunk, which is coming from reduxjs toolkit by default. So we don't have to install it independently and add the middleware, apply middleware independently. We don't have to do that. Then we are going to supply here the name. The name is going to be in the format that you saw, that I mentioned, right? Card slash whatever is the name. So fetch some API request. Okay, that is my name. So basically this is becoming *this*this. So what we are simply saying is we have to pass this for now manually. Then we have this async, and here we will have, I think it is user ID, thunk API, and a bunch of, like, basically it passes a bunch of things. If you check here, this is my API, which I'm using something, and this is basically where I will pass a data. And later in the extra reducers in the builder, in this add case, we are passing that data. Like, first of all, this is an action, right? Whether it is fulfilled, whether it is pending, whether it is failed. So there are 3 actions. If you check this, if you check this where it is, hopefully it will be done. Like if I do it like pending, come on. This is my old code, by the way. Again, okay, payment pending, not this. There has to be some pending action, right? Let's see, inside my constant, there has to be action creator action. Order. Here it is. So the request is basically pending, right? Then there's a success, and then there's a failed. This is how we were defining previously. We used to define previously. Now there's a standard way of defining it internally. There's a fulfilled, there's, I think, failure. We'll see it right now. So for us, it is just going to be an async function where we are not doing anything else. And of course, we have to make it like arrow function. And then I will simply be awaiting a new promise, which will have resolve like so, which will, let's put it this way. Let's do it entirely. Resolve reject. And then I will open it. For now, I will open it. Okay. And here I will say, there's a way to actually do it. If, let me just put it this way. I'm inside this. Inspect. I can now paste it right here inside the console. First, this has to be a math.floor. Let's put it as math.random. Oh, math.random. Okay, so math.floor, then +1. Right, now we have to make it as +10. Cool. Okay, so this is what we are going to do. Hopefully it is fine. I'm just trying to make sure that this, if this is greater than 5, okay, set timeout should be basically reject after, let's say, 300 milliseconds. Okay, else set timeout should resolve after 300 milliseconds. So either it will fail or it will resolve. I mean, either it will fail, either it will succeed. And while it is performing this waiting period of 300 milliseconds or 3 seconds, it will be in pending state. Okay. So we define some sort of like a fetch API here. Now I'm doing it like this. Basically, this is where you will fetch everything. Cool enough. Okay. And then you will update few things here. So for now, I will use the builder.addCase. Then here I will supply fetch API. I think this is how it is done. Let me just check. Right. So this will now give, if you check here, fetch user by ID is basically the same, fetch user by ID. Okay. This will now have, thanks to create async thunk, it will have 3, the moment you press dot, it will have fulfilled, pending, rejected. Rejected means failure, right? Or let me put it this way, request, aka pending, pending. Success means fulfilled. I hope the spelling is right. Failed, rejected. Fair enough. It's the same thing. So now we have just in standard names rather than, or to be honest, names, yeah, standard names, rather than defining things with each project. It was some sort of like I would have been defined like get order request, somebody get order is pending, things like that. So it is not going to happen in any so-called if you learn this in one project and somebody else is using it, it will be the same. Hopefully it is, you know, understandable. So we will first start with the pending. When the thing is pending, right, then we will have a reducer. Okay, let's see. When the things are pending or fulfilled, then we get the reducer one more time. And if you check, the reducer is nothing but a state action, right? So it's the same thing. How to put it? If you check, the reducer is nothing but it will give us the same thing. So I will just copy it from here. And in our case, basically we don't require anything. So I'll just make it like this, and I'll just say it is request is pending. Fair enough. Now this is an add case. What we can also do is we can say builder dot add case, another add case, and then we can say fetch API, some API, and now we can say pending is already run. What about the rejected? Okay, we can do it like this, or we can just chain it. This will also work, by the way. So now in terms of rejected, maybe we want to do something else, but for now I'll just say dot error. I will say request failed, and then again I will say add case, and here I will say fetch API dot fulfilled. Finally, again we will get the state and action, by the way, don't forget about this. But this time, because I don't have much use case here for this particular small project, so I will say request fulfilled or request success. Okay, this can be info. Cool. That's good. Now for some way we have to just simply call this somewhere in some sort of like an action. We have to call this, like we are calling these things, we have to call it. Now if you check, it is saying dispatch it somewhere, right? So let's come back to this. First of all, let's go to this card itself. Let's make another button. I'll just copy this whole thing. Okay, I'll copy, I'll just say on click. Then here I will say dispatch, then fetch. We have to export it as well. Okay, now we will say fetch some API, and that's it. Now let's put it this way, fetch some API. Let's go back. It says fetch some API. Let's see. When I click on this, something must have happened. Let's go to my component, which is Redux. Let's refresh it. Custom levels, it is warning. Am I doing something wrong? Okay. Wait a minute. I have to call it like this. Okay, then let's see. Fetch some API. Request is pending. After few seconds, it will either fail or it will succeed. Let's go again. You can see where it is coming from. Let's go again. It is finally success. Okay, so this is create thunk for async operations. The maybe we can use it to fetch this product listing as well. If we create that particular product card item, right, we can use it maybe. But hopefully this is clear. This is all there is to Redux Toolkit. RTK query is different, but this is all there is in terms of Redux Toolkit. It is done, it is dusted. To be honest, it has, just to recap, you create a store using configure store function from reduxjs toolkit. If you are using TypeScript, then you create this root state and app dispatch using the type of store.getState and store.dispatch. In the root state, you also use the return type wrapper. Then within the configure store, you pass the reducer object, and there you define a bunch of reducers. This is only one, but you can have user, products, things like that. Then because you are using TypeScript, we are going to say use app dispatch so that we get things in terms of some sort of like a TypeScript facility. We are going to get some hint there. Since this is done, we will also export the store as default, and that's it. We are exporting all these types. Why? Because we might be using these somewhere. In case you want to know where we are actually going to use this app dispatch, let's go here just quickly. Not this here. Let's go to this right here, and we can pass it app dispatch, right? So then you can see that it has cart and all of those things. It will get you things like that. Now you can actually look into it, why it is happening, expected, and all of that. Maybe it is not like this, it has to be this. It will get the same thing, right? Then if you check here, you will have, let me check, dispatch. You will see all the types. If you just press Control space, you will also see what all the things are available, the methods, which was not present before. And that is what the TypeScript does. Now, once this is done, the reducer is nothing but defined inside a slice. Slice can be think of as a single slice of bread. Basically, it contains all its butter, all its jam already. You don't have to, do a bunch of things outside of this. So it does everything for you. Like initial state is defined in the slice. The naming of the slice is done here for the internal purpose. This name is utilized internally by the slice to create the type, which is cart/add item to cart, cart/remove item from cart. This is basically defining the actions within the slice, and it is also taking care of the immutability or referential integrity part of this entire equation. We also can do the extra reducers, so that using the builders, so that we can fetch the data using some API if we want to. It has 3 states. One is pending, rejected, and fulfilled. So even the action type is taken care of here, right? The type and everything is taken care of here. Then we are exporting all the actions here. We're also exporting the slice here. And that's about it. That's what we are doing. And yeah, that's about the whole thing. By the way, we don't have to export it from here. We can export things from here as well. Yeah, let's export it from here. I think I have missed something, but it's the same. The create async thunk is something that we use to define the thunk. We don't have to install thunk and apply middleware packages now in this new one. Here we have to follow the standard of whatever the name we have given here, followed by slash and then our function type. So that's what I have done. I think it will give me this fetch something has to be there, right? Yeah, let it be, we'll see. And then it will have async, which is basically nothing but this entire async function, so that we can have some sort of like a promise, like fetch request, things like that. And this have three states: pending, rejected, and fulfilled. All of these are reducers, so that means it has the access of a state, it has the access of action, but we don't require it, so we are not using it. But this is what it is. This is the entirety of Redux Toolkit. The RTK query is left, so if I have time sometime in future, maybe by next week, I'll do that as well. For now, I will be going back to my Next.js series. I have to edit the videos, and hopefully, because I'm so busy, I just got few like 4 hours in between, so I just did this. Otherwise, I would have done something else. Since I have a lot of work in my job right now. But eventually I will be releasing those Next.js videos first. I will be changing the thumbnail to 14 now, because nothing has changed in that Next.js 13.5.6 version that I was teaching and Next.js 14. Nothing has changed except the fact that things have become more stable and server actions has become unstable. So I'll just change the thumbnail so it is up to date, and that's about it. Okay, that's it. If you like this, just subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, and hopefully yeah, hopefully you will just stick around for more such videos. Bye.